Tonight we resume our Election 2009 political forum series leading up to the City of Tucson's election on Tuesday, November the 3rd. Early voting will begin 1 week from tomorrow on October the 8th. Tonight we spotlight the three candidates battling for a seat on the Tucson City Council from Ward 3. With us tonight, Democrat Karen Uhlich, who was elected to the council in 2005. Defeating incumbent Kathleen Dunbar. In addition to her council job, she serves as the executive director of the Southwest Center for Economic Integrity. Also with us tonight is Green Party candidate Mary DeCamp, an instructor at the University of Arizona. Republican Ben Buehler-Garcia is a former executive with the Tucson Metropolitan Chamber and is now a consultant. And joining me to question the candidates, Jim Ninsel is here from the Tucson Weekly. Thank you all for being with us tonight.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Let's begin with Councilwoman Uhlich. Why would you like another 4 years, and what's the number one issue that you see facing the city?
I see really two issues, but primary in my mind, and I think most people's minds, is the economy. We're suffering the most dramatic downturn in the nation's recent history, and we're all feeling it in Tucson. So I think we have to really focus on keeping our economy strong. My emphasis has been on local entrepreneurs and small businesses, which have always created 80 to 85% of the new jobs in Tucson.
And Ben Buehler-Garcia, why are you running for council, and what's the big issue?
Well, for me in Ward 3 in particular, the big issue is, the short answer is potholes and police, public safety and jobs. Folks, we need to create, people just Tucsonans don't feel safe in their homes and their businesses anymore, and the two issues are related. The higher or the less likelihood of having economic opportunity in a town, the higher likelihood of certain crimes being connected. So we've got to address both those things on a parallel track.
And Ms. DeCamp, why did you want to get into this race? And what's your big issue?
Thank you very much. The reason I wanted to get into the race is because I see global issues that affect us, and I'm talking about physical changes in our planet and global warming. I'm talking about the economic downturn, and I'm also concerned with social changes. My platform does have 3 planks.
Okay, give us your top issue.
Energy. Energy retrofitting for Arizona, or for Tucson.
Okay, thanks.
Ben, let's get right into the big topic of this campaign in many ways, which is Prop 200, the Public Safety First initiative. You support this initiative, which would require the city to hire more police officers and more firefighters. City officials are saying once it's implemented in 5 years, it would cost the city an additional $51 million. Where do you find the money to pay for that?
Well, it's interesting, Jim, that the items called for in Proposition 200 are no different than what the mayor and council voted for in their sustainability plan, with the funding come out of the general fund to do that. So the important thing is, look, public safety is the #1 issue in our community. So if it was appropriate to fund in 2006, I would propose to you that regardless, public safety needs to be the first funding priority in good times or in bad times. I'm sorry.
And so where do you find the money to pay for it?
Well, I think you find the money within the general fund by growing the overall pie, the budget pie, the revenue pie. That's something that's not been addressed so far, I would propose, in this debate, as we talk about raising fees and taxes and those sorts of things. But really the way that you fund government is by having a big enough revenue source, by having a healthy business climate, so we've got enough money to draw out those dollars from.
Councilwoman Uhlich, is the money going to be there to fund this in the next 5 years?
The problem with the proposition, Jim, is that there isn't an identified funding source. It's an unfunded mandate. The vote of mayor and council is to be sure that we keep public safety our #1 priority investment. And so we have done that. However, with a downturn where we have had to cut $80 million from our general fund budget, it's, I think, disingenuous to say that we can hit the mark that's proposed in this proposition without serious cuts, new revenue sources. Certainly growing the economy is a priority as well, and I think Tucson has fared better than many cities in creating a better business climate and seeing investment happen. And I could point to a number of areas in Ward 3 where there's healthy investment and growth. But to lock something like that into the Constitution is a concern, and I just want to make sure voters understand the full implications of the proposition. If it passes, I will implement it. But the problem with fixing these things rigidly without an identified source of revenue is something that voters really need to take into account.
But you're not taking a stand on it one way or the other?
I see my job, Jim, is making sure voters have the facts. I trust the electorate. I have seen time and again that when voters have full information, they make the right decision. So I think that my role is to get those facts out there and trust the voters with the decision.
But I would propose that Proposition 200, and frankly, a lot of what drove me into this race was the lack of those priorities at the mayor and council. If addressing crime was a #1 priority in 2006, regardless, again, of the economic times, that still needs to be a top priority for our community. And I want to remind the viewers out there, this is not just about police, it's also about firemen. And right now, if one of us were to keel over in this studio, based on the average response times of our firemen right now, they would not be able to make the appropriate response time before our brains start to have a real problem. So the two are tied together, and it's, regardless of the economic times, we have to fund public safety first. We've got to set that as the priority.
Okay, and Mr. Camp.
Mary, I think you're the only person in this race who actually is opposed to Proposition 200. Would you care to elaborate on that?
I would urge voters to vote against Proposition 200. The reason is, as Councilwoman Ulick pointed out, it's an unfunded mandate. The police say that the trends in violent crime are going down, so it doesn't seem as though there's a need at this time. I know that 80% of the time the fire department does respond within 4 minutes, and I haven't heard of examples or specific cases where there is cause for concern. So I would urge voters not to vote for Proposition 200, vote against it.
Okay, we'll keep it with you and go around the table this way with this question. What about downtown? Has downtown been a failure, the revitalization effort?
Downtown has a long way to go to be revitalized. Right now, what we see is people streaming into the downtown to work there, and when the workday's over, they stream out again. That's a problem. I'm working with a local currency group, Tucson Life Cash, and we're trying to develop a local currency that incorporates 4th Avenue and downtown merchants in a supplemental currency system.
Okay, and Ben Buehler-Garcia, downtown, has it been a failure in your opinion?
Well, a vibrant, I agree with Mary, a vibrant downtown is essential to any vibrant community, and we need to take Tucson away from being just a 9-to-5 town. I was involved, I've written 3 revitalization plans in my career. I was involved with Rio Nuevo and the renovation of the Fox Theater before Rio Nuevo existed. I will say that Rio Nuevo was clearly off track. It hasn't been managed properly. The public expectations haven't been managed properly. Financially, we're still waiting for an audit of really, we don't know where the money has gone on Rio Nuevo, and that's very concerning to me. We can do this. If need be, if we have to start over, it's essential that we get Tucson's downtown vibrant again, and we can do that. The original cultural elements that were part of the original Rio Nuevo concept are still there, and we can do that, and all Tucsonans need to be involved in getting that done.
Are we on the right track, Councilwoman?